Hey everybody, Alex Kozora, SteelersDepot.com, back with some more Pittsburgh Steelers tape breakdown and analysis. The Pittsburgh Steelers getting a big dub in Dublin Sunday, beating the Minnesota Vikings 24-21, Pittsburgh's most complete and best game of the season. So much to discuss in the obvious and the big parts of the game, but I love the details, I love the little things, I love the selfless play that got Pittsburgh the victory. Let's talk about it. Before we start, if you guys could like this video, subscribe to the channel, and check out the site, SteelersDepot.com, would really appreciate that. I'll try to go through these clips in slightly faster succession than usual, so I'll only spend about 6 hours on each play, but just want to point all this stuff out because it really was a team win. So for the Pittsburgh Steelers' first rushing touchdown of the game, Kenneth Gainwell running this crackback block here, Ben Skoranek getting his nose dirty, cracking the safety, help create this lane for Pittsburgh. You're getting these, Zorro kind of toss play here. Pat Frymouth doubling the defensive and the play side, and Pittsburgh being able to dress this up in a couple different ways. No actual toss here, but you're getting the Zorro motion action, which is from the Shanahan tree. It's typically a toss play. Pittsburgh's used more stretch plays with it this year. So Frymouth motioning across, doubling the end here. We're also getting a crack down on number 0 by Ben Skoranek, who is the king of doing the dirty work and finishing that block, and he did that throughout this game. Another clip of his I'll show you a little bit later. And so good team run blocking. This is not just the receivers overall. And on the morning, I should say, local time, it was a really good outing by the front five. But everyone getting involved, that includes Skoranek. This is the DK Metcalf 80-yard touchdown. And two things to note with number 19, Calvin Austin, to the bottom. Unfortunately, Austin got hurt. Don't know his status coming out of the bye, but the speed to run off and occupy these safeties, DK Metcalf talked about that post-game. And then this final block here on Josh Metellus. It doesn't seem like a lot, but it's so meaningful to spring Metcalf those final 10 yards. If Austin's not getting his head around, running downfield, looking for work, Metellus is going to get Metcalf out of bounds, probably about 10 yards shy of the end zone. So first thing here is Austin, full off the line here, knowing this ball is probably going to DK Metcalf. That might be the primary read on this play, but the speed here to hold the backside safety, carry the other safety as well. That's 44. Metellus is kind of their hybrid linebacker, defensive back. And so those guys are out of position, so Metcalf can run past, get past the safety on the angle, who's flat-footed. And then Austin, I just want to go back and show it here one time. Arthur Smith calls these the RBIs, the runs batted in, the guys that help and assist on these long runs here. And so Austin getting his head around, looking for work, sacrificing his body, gets enough of Metellus here, a bigger guy, and springs Metcalf into the end zone. We'll see if it shows up on the end zone view. Yeah, Austin looking left and then head around here, finding Metellus, racing downfield, throwing the block. Big touchdown for Pittsburgh. There's probably a separate video on this point, and it's not a small thing, but it's a really good unit-wide thing. I thought Pittsburgh defensively had really clear and clean communication. Now, there was the Addison bust. That was really the only bad communication issue Pittsburgh had. They were down some corners, but I just thought overall Pittsburgh communicated well. Watch Minnesota here. They're coming out big personnel. They're starting in tight. They shift to empty. Pittsburgh's been hurt by that so many times before against Cleveland. Those teams that would do that frequently, and the Chargers, I remember, would do this kind of stuff. You get linebackers on receivers. Pittsburgh's gotten much better here over the years. But just watch the communication. So they're checking empty, and everyone's talking. The DBs, the linebackers, Patrick Queen, the green dot, Cam Hayward. He's not playing edge because Herbig's walking off here, displaced as a kind of overhang defender. Ends up being a short completion. This is not a highlight reel play, but it's just clean communication, which Pittsburgh has been in desperate need of since late last season. The communication has fallen apart. I mean, everybody's just talking here. Slay and Holcomb and the deep post safety and Herbig and Queen and Ramsey. Everyone's on the same page. Hayward's shifting the front here. It might not be perfect. It might be a little bit late. Maybe a little bit of confusion here from Benton. But just overall, it was a whole lot better. And this was a recurring theme throughout this game. This is just one good example to show it. Okay, back to the small things. Completion here, and then just watch Patrick Queen finish this play. I thought Queen had a really good game overall. Bunch of tackles, impact plays at or behind the line of scrimmage. A sack early in this game. Just watch the effort here. The strain, the finish, the receivers held up. Queen's going to go knock him all down. Doesn't have to do that. The tackle secure. There's 3 other guys around the football, but Queen's going to come in and then make sure that Jefferson's not going to do anything post-catch. And so just little things like that, showing the effort, the extra mile, the strain of this game was really on display. This is the Aaron Rodgers fumble and eyes on left tackle Broderick Jones, who I haven't gone through every single offensive rep of the All-22. I think had a pretty good game overall. Obviously, Rodgers got the ball out of his hand quickly, but you're seeing a guy chase after the football to run downfield. And while this is a fortunate bounce that falls into Jones's hands, you're creating your own luck by running downfield, by not loafing and just kind of watching the world go by. So a nice job here by Jones as Rodgers breaks contain, takes off. Jones is running with him. Ball pops out, and Jones is right there for it. If he's just kind of hanging back and, okay, Rodgers has taken off downfield, he'll do his thing, let him go, this ball probably ends up in Minnesota hands. And so you run to the football, you never know what could happen, but good things are going to happen when you run to the football. And Jones himself gets to play a little running back here, break a tackle, and fall forward. So kind of a fun moment for an offensive lineman. And then Rodgers, watch the reaction once he realizes Pittsburgh maintained possession of the football. He is pumped. He said, thank you. The broadcast caught that afterwards. So these are small things. These are details. Run to the football, play with effort, play with strain that was on display throughout this game, and it results in Pittsburgh keeping the ball. Later in the game, watching Ben Skoranek again, going in motion, pulling across, and being a frontside blocker, a lot more gap schemes. In this game, it felt like Skoranek just running his feet. Doesn't have to be a big thing, but just receivers putting their hand in the pile, blocking, really good effort overall. It's nice blocks on the front side too by Darnell Washington and company, but just watching these guys do the dirty work. The very next play, Calvin Austin. Watch the stock block, watch the effort, watch him stick to the cornerback on this toss to Kenny Gainwell, help give him the edge. Gainwell showing the speed there to help turn the corner as well. Take a look at it from the end zone view. Austin right here, just running his feet, staying attached to the cornerback, helping Gainwell get that edge. It's an 8-yard gain or so, but 8-yard gains on first down. You're going to sign up for that every single time. Pittsburgh's running game at its best of the season in this one. So a little guy like Austin, you saw the Metcalf touchdown. You see it here, really getting involved as a blocker. And then the very next play after that, this run game was getting going. The offensive line was getting confidence. There was some swagger. There was an edge. You could feel it for the first time all this year. This offense felt like it was playing with and exuding a ton of confidence overall. Austin on the crackback block on the safety. Gainwell nearly scores, punched it in right after. But Calvin Austin, what can you say about this guy? I got a video from a couple of years ago about him playing with really good effort and strain despite not being a big guy. So cracking the safety here, forcing the cornerback to replace, just kind of classic crack replace rules. You'd rather have corners try to tackle than safeties who are bigger and stronger and more integral in the run fit. Than the cornerback is. Rather the corners make those tackles, and Gainwell nearly puts the ball in the end zone. So I thought the receivers were active in the crack game. Skoranek showed that on that touchdown that Gainwell had, his first one. You see it here with Calvin Austin. Special teams is not excluded from this conversation as well. So watch this punt return by Calvin Austin, just the second of the season. The first one went backwards. The second one, a 12-yard return. You'll take that. Just small things, the effort from guys like Peyton Wilson and James Pierre, playing clean, playing smart, these airplane blocks. So you don't get that block in the back haul. Kind of break it down here. Austin running left here. You get the airplane block from Chuck Clark. That's when you throw your hands up, kind of just box him out like a rebound because you're not going to get called for blocking the back. That way, it's a technique used around the NFL. You're seeing Peyton Wilson do the same thing, just shielding yourself, arms out, putting your arms out like an airplane. That's where it comes from, gaining the edge. And then watch James Pierre here, sacrificing his body. Talk about selfless play and making a play so somebody else can make a play, even though yours will almost never get noticed unless it's on this video. Pierre throwing his body into the Vikings player. Doesn't ultimately really impact the play. Austin gets run out of bounds, but in that moment, you don't know that. You're just trying to make a play, throw a block. You see Pierre almost leading the convoy for Calvin Austin, throwing his body out in front. Austin does not take a big hit either, and so that's at least one benefit, and Pierre is hyped, and the All-22 does not show it. You see it on the TV tape. Austin, right after this play, goes up to Pierre, high-fives him. He knows the play that Pierre made, the sacrifice that he made. So just one guy making a play for another. You really felt that throughout this game. on all three phases. Again, just watch Pierre right here. Throw his body in the way. That's not going to feel good, but it feels good to make a play for your teammate. This play has been talked about a lot, as it should be, but I want to show it on the All-22. Peyton Wilson. You want to talk about the epitome of strain and effort and never giving up. Pittsburgh cover two, some sort of bust here. Not going to get in the weeds of who was at fault, but Wilson running all out, never giving up. The analytics say he ran 22.4 something miles per hour, the fastest by a linebacker since the stat has been tracked dating back to 2016, hawking down a speedy receiver in Jordan Addison. Yeah, the ball's not great. Addison stumbles. I don't care. Hey, you get the mentality of let's go make that play. Most guys are just going to give up and just assume Addison's taking this one to the house. And Wilson, this has been on his tape. I did a video whenever he came out of NC State about the effort, the closing speed that he had. Wilson's a freak athlete, but there's a fire that burns inside you to make these kinds of plays, to not give up. He did it against Baltimore last season. He does it here. And while Minnesota still ultimately scored, this tackle took off an extra minute on the clock late in the fourth quarter. Valuable time lost from Minnesota's perspective, gained from Pittsburgh's perspective to close out what ended up being a very close game. So, man, cannot say enough about this play. Peyton Wilson, not just the athleticism to be able to do it, but the desire and the want-to and the effort and the heart to do it. Man, what a play. We'll take a look at it from the end zone view. I mean, Wilson is not even close. And this is not a tight end. This is not a running back. This is not a backup receiver. It's Jordan Addison, an accomplished, talented, pedigree receiver. Yes, his first game off suspension, but still, I mean, this is just an amazing play. Last example, even the quarterback getting involved. Aaron Rodgers, I can't believe the broadcast did not talk about it more very late in the game. Rodgers throwing the shoulder into the linebacker to help Gainwell get the edge. This is a crazy play here, and I don't know exactly how much of an impact it had. The linebacker was sort of stumbling, but still, just doing things to help out your teammate, get in the way. I mean, everybody was getting involved. Receivers, tight ends, the offensive line did a really good job, and Rodgers too in this moment. So a full team effort to get the win here. Gainwell bouncing this run and then staying in bounds too was a big thing for him. But Rodgers right there, throw that shoulder at 41 years old. Man, this tape's a lot of fun to watch, and it's refreshing because some of the tape's been difficult to watch these first three games, and this one you just love a lot of the details, and then again, Gainwell staying in bounds. So let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Appreciate you guys watching. Please like this video, subscribe to the channel, and check out the site, SteelersDepot.com. Thank you again, and we'll talk to you soon.